Hey everyone, this is P from Cross Apparel. Have you ever had a dream, but you felt life got in the way? You're not alone. Join me and my husband to hear more. You know what this feels like? This feels like, have you ever had a dream that was so big, like it scared you? It was so big, so bright, so like unexpected.
Yeah.
And it would sit in your heart. It would take up space there, but you were unqualified for it, right? You don't know what you're doing. So it kind of just stayed there and rested. Maybe you told one or two people, maybe you didn't tell anyone. But it was something that felt very unattainable.
Yeah.
That is what Cross Apparel is to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's almost wild to think that we're here, but here we are.
Here we are.
And this is a journey that actually started in 2019, in July of 2019. Mm-hmm. And don't despise, right, the small beginnings.
Yes.
Right? Don't just out at the day of small things. And, it all started just during a time of just spending time with the Lord, really learning, I think really going deeper into an intimate relationship with Jesus, learning more about what the cross, what his resurrection, the finished work, like what that really meant for me. Like what did that mean for me? And as I was just, taking this season of just going deeper into that, I was like, wow, there were certain things that were really speaking to me. And I was like, well, it'd be cool, because I didn't see it out anywhere. Like what if this was on a shirt? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what if I had this on the shirt? So my diary is in my phone. So I just wrote down like, okay, like, this would be cool to just, like have this on a shirt. And then another month went by and it's like, oh, you know what? It'd be cool to have this and it'd be cool to have that. And, if you remember, I'll eventually start telling you like, hey, you know what? I've been getting some ideas about like, like just things
different shirt content.
Yeah, that I want to wear. Like, I don't know anything about that. I don't even know how to get a shirt made. Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't even have any idea how it even works. But it's just like, okay, if I could ever figure out how to get a shirt made, then I would love to wear, like this, and I'd love to wear that. And it's just a simple thing, right?
And it kind of just stayed there, right? Like after you told me about this, you had these ideas, and I was like, well, that's cool. And I actually started writing down a few shirts myself. Yep. We kind of kept it in our phone, and that's just where it was for a while. Yeah,
and that's where it was. Never even acted on it. Never even began to get a shirt made. And so, I think, like the shift, right? Like I think things start to shift around 2021. And that was really where we began to just time with the Lord, thinking that, well, what if this just wasn't only for us?
Yeah.
And
honestly, for me, when that first happened, I was just like, oh, okay, Lord. Because, around that time, I really had a lot of things going on. I was thinking about a lot of things, and I thought, wow, yes, that's great. But I'm also...
We're believing for a baby.
Yeah, we're believing for a baby.
We're having some problems.
We're having a lot of challenges with...
It's not working out. It's been some years.
Yes, it's been some years at that point. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, that's great. That's not something I could ever do. Wow, yes. But I really want to have a baby. Yeah,
exactly. So I think that was, like just something that's why I just went on the back burner again, right? It just didn't happen. And then in 2023, right, we have our miracle baby boy, like, and then it's like, oh man, woo, waking up all throughout the night.
Yes.
We're doing this, just learning to get adjusted.
We're in the newborn trenches. Like, remember that time when you poured the milk and like, it wasn't a bottle. It was like, he poured it in some type of machine or something.
I poured it right into the machine. I mean, like in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Because at that point, one day had turned into 8 days. And so it was definitely, something to remember, but we were super excited about it.
Yeah. So that was our life, right?
Yep.
So, great. Okay. Sounds good that there's ideas for these shirts are there, but we got too much stuff going on. But I think it was at the beginning of 2024, right? That really started to get right at the beginning, right? It was just really feeling like, hey, I think there's really something here.
Yeah.
You know, like how that desire.
Yes. And I wanted you to talk about how, previously before that, when you had the desire from the Lord to like start this, and I was like, no way, I just want to have a baby.
Yeah.
You went to, our church and spoke with our pastors and.
Yeah. Like I think, so if the Lord, if you feel something's on your heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that desire's growing deeper, because that is good for us to actually go back a little bit and talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when there's a desire and we feel like it's growing deeper, it's like, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's, what do you do? So I remember we came together and I was like, hey, P, I think that, maybe the Lord is doing something where he wants this not to just be just for me or just for you, like, that for other people, but why don't we just pray about that?
Yeah.
Like, like, why don't we pray about that? And remember we prayed?
Yeah.
And so, we prayed about that, and it's like, okay, we're not getting any red flags here.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not getting any. So, the Bible talks about there's safety in the multitude of counselors. So then we just said like, hey, why don't we get a hold of some of our church leaders and actually like pray with them as well, and just see like, hey, is anybody getting any red flags here, or does it seem like, okay, should we even just entertain the idea of stepping into this?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what kind of brought us, even though we were believing for the child and everything, that's what kind of like really brought us to that place of like, boy, maybe entertaining it.
Yeah.
But then
We had a baby. Yay.
Yeah. That was it for like, yeah.
So at the beginning of 2024, our son is here. I'm in the trenches. I'm a new mom. I'm enjoying all of that. 2024, I felt like the Lord was starting to speak to me again about this. And, I started to kind of entertain the idea a little bit more and say, okay, Lord, maybe it isn't as, crazy and out there as I thought at first. And I talked to Tony about that.
Yeah, all the timings, right?
Yep.
You don't think
I was like, okay,
you're
but I
trying to wait for the best timing.
Yes.
And like, it's like, come on, Lord, like this timing obviously isn't the best. Why are you telling us to go forward?
to do this now, but I still was like, okay, Lord.
Yep.
And, if you could do this with a baby and, all the other things that's going on, then
Yep.
Sure. But then, a few months later, my mom, unexpectedly went to heaven.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And remember, his last breath was our first.